And today we have Mr. Jagadisa Nayaka invited for this special online discussion. So thank you very much, Mr. Disanayaka, for joining with us. Can you hear me properly?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Lucy, for inviting me. Yeah.
Yes. So, Mr. Disanayaka, what do you think the problems that the companies are facing right now, and how do you think the management should, or rather, can overcome this situation? And how long, like, do you think it will take time?
Okay, I'll mention some of the, these are very pertinent question at this time, at this juncture, because this is on not only for now, but also for the future. I think I'll mention some of the problems and give my response after each question. But to tell you the time frame, we cannot give a time frame for this because it's difficult to give a time frame. It depends on how fast companies sort of act on these things. So it's a time frame, depends again, I would think, I mean, if we follow some of these things and if you put things right, we should be able to, before end of the year, we should be able to get things sort of maybe back normal. Again, it also depends on the global situation. So you can't give exact time frame, but just to give you an idea. But the most important thing is, starting with the first question, it's understandable that businesses are very concerned, and at this time, you can easily lose focus on it because you really don't know what to do. I mean, you tend to panic. I mean, I have encountered similar situation, not in Sri Lanka, but in other countries. But my advice is you should not lose courage. You should not lose focus, right? You have to focus on your problem. Don't focus on your problem, but focus on your business, how to come out. You have to take courage of it. So I would say this too, the problems would be, people would be very concerned about the reduction in turnover. Like, there would be people will obviously encounter drastic reduction in the turnover or the sales. So that's a problem. But what they need to do is to discuss with their sales and marketing team and come out with different strategies. It's important that they come out with different strategies. You might not be able to go with very traditional way of doing, or maybe you have been successful in the past, but you might not be able to have the same success now. There'll be a dip. So how do you might have to think of a diversification, related diversification. Then because of the global situation, maybe that will give boost to a company. Then the other question that people will ask is, how do I repay my loans? How do I pay my taxes? These are another concern that most people would have. I think they will have to make use of the moratorium, the rebates, and the tax concessions like delaying in VAT payments and so on. The government has granted. So these things, you have to make use of these things at this time. Again, the problem will be after it's only a moratorium, it's only a deferment. So when you defer, after some time, how are you going to repay this? So that is why you have to have various other things in place to make sure that you are in you have the capacity to repay these loans and so on. I mean, that we can discuss at a later stage. Then of course the other problem with this is that people will ask, how do I pay my workers? Now the workers are struggling. Some companies might not have a problem of both, not have finances, they might not have enough banking facilities. So if they don't have a problem if they have a problem in processing that, what they need to do is to discuss with their HR department. They have to find a way of having remote access to the computer to process the payroll. If they have to have access to the physical documents, they might have to get police special permission, have to get curfew pass and explain the situation, and then uh, get the source documents for processing. And it has to be done, it can be done from home, I mean from your remote control or from your remote access. That's a facility. But if you have a problem with these bank facilities, the finance people need to talk to the bank relationship manager, explain this where banks might be able to arrange some of these things. Yeah. Then the next question people might ask, how do I sustain at this time? Or how do I mean, everybody is worried about the bottom line. How do I sustain my profits, the finances, the inventories, the receivable or debtors? I mean, these are problem that so now, as I mentioned, that you have been, maybe some of you have been successful prior to this event, or not, whether you have been successful or not successful. What you need to do is, at this juncture, that you have to do restructuring of the company, right? The companies, which, when I say restructuring, means you have to restructure your sales and marketing. You have to come out with some of these out of the box business solutions. You have to look at cost efficiencies uh, that will be able to, not immediately, although you will have a dip, likely to have a dip, you'll be able to sustain the profitability. And it's also very important that you would have prepared your budget or the plan for the year or the forecast. Now you need to reforecast all these things, have a forecast, and monitor the forecast on a monthly basis. Now, if you are to do this, first you have to put your all the strategies in place and see what are we going to achieve. Maybe you might not be able to achieve this year the your target this year, but you might be able to. So you should not take this as a very negative thing. I think, I mean, always negative things could give to opportunities. I mean, certain events, crisis can give to opportunities. You have to always think of the opportunities, how you could make use of these things. The time allocated to me is very limited, therefore I'm not in a position to bring all the solutions. But but if you encounter, we are very happy to assist you by phone, because we have got we can help you by phone absolutely free of charge. We are not going to charge you if you phone us on these numbers that will be mentioned by Roshi. And because we have got qualified experience and expertise in marketing, sales, finance, IT, legal, you name it, we have it. So I just want to tell you that I have encountered much worse situations in other countries, worse crisis, I would say. But we ultimately we managed to thrive on those economies. So please do contact us, and we will help you certain things. I mean, some of the things over the phone. And yeah, so I think maybe Roshi, would you like to give the numbers? Or you could phone us on 077317876. I'll repeat, 077317876. We are happy to help you, because especially SMEs contribute to 70% of the growth of the economy in this country. So we think that we are obliged to help the country. To help the country, we need to help the organization, especially these things. So we are very happy to help, and please call us. MECWA is there, and we are, as a group, we can overcome this situation. We will be able to overcome. I don't think that this is the end of the world. Take it positively, focus, I hope this video will give you a lot of encouragement and open certain ways for you to think of. The other thing is, I couldn't mention was one of the problems is that it's not only the profitability. You might be worried about your inventories. You might have a problem with your inventory. So for the problem of the inventories, um, what you need to do is you have to have a sound inventory management system, because most of these you might have perishable items and then some of the, so you have to have your inventories, introduce a sound inventory management system. Now the other problem is you might, how do I manage my finance, bank balance? That's why it's absolutely imperative that you have a treasury management system. Then how do I manage my debtors? Because debtors, most of them, or the receivables, they might have the same problem. They might say, how do I pay? So you have to bear with them for a while, but you have to have a sound debtors control system, which includes a debt collector, because you will have to focus on many other things. You will not be able to focus on collecting debt. So you have to have debt collectors. So we have all these people. So if you want assistance, we are there to help. Again, the number is 07773178776. We can give you advice over the phone, absolutely free of charge.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Disanayak. As you said, like being together, working as one team, and moreover, finding other opportunities are the way to go. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining with us on for this online discussion. Hope to see you soon.